canard since Ronald Reagan. And even Bill Clinton could have come up with something slicker in response. But Barack Obama knew what he was doing. He wanted everybody to know that he does not recognize that blacks have any particular problem that needs special attention. So we can all just sit and wait on that tide to rise. Now, I suppose that Dyson's remarks might be considered among the cracks that are supposed to be developing in Obama's black support. But in truth, I think that Dyson's complaint is so narrowly presented that it actually points up the depth of the black political crisis. Dyson gets upset, and as he should get upset, when Obama makes a point of snubbing and insulting black people every couple of weeks. He does it like clockwork. In fact, I can even imagine Rahm Emanuel, Barack's chief of staff, reminding Barack that he has not insulted black people for the last couple of weeks. And Barack replying, "Oh, I'll get right on it." But if Obama just stopped doing that, just stopped insulting us with regularity, if he seemed to be giving black folks their full quota of love for a change, then everything would be all right with Michael Eric Dyson. And Dyson, remember, still gives Barack Obama an A on foreign policy and an A on domestic policy. So, here's the world as Michael Eric Dyson sees it. We've got foreign policy, and we have domestic policy, and then we have black policy. Domestic policy is separate in his mind from black policy. Foreign policy is separate from black policy. Therefore, war is not a matter about which black folks should be specifically concerned. And $12.8 trillion going to the banking class is not something that black folks should be so worried about. And remember that Dyson is considered by some people to be on the progressive side of black politics. Now, why am I picking on Michael Dyson? Well, I like to pick on Michael Dyson. Of course, Michael Dyson had the nerve to try to step to me. But it's really because Michael Dyson is symptomatic of the current crisis in black political thought. He represents a step backwards to pre-Martin Luther King black politics. Remember that King spoke of the triple evils of racism, militarism, and materialism, and by that he meant greed, and I'm sure by that he meant bankers. Dr. King saw that our politics must be a large politics, or else we will be crushed by larger forces. The crisis is that we have been neutralized, marginalized, politically ghettoized by the symbolic victory of having a black face in the highest place in the land. If that is all we wanted, then the struggle is indeed over. And if all it takes to satisfy Michael Dyson and his ilk is for President Obama to move symbolically to embrace blackness, well, you know, Obama can do that if he feels like it, if he wants to. And then if he did that, he can still give trillions more dollars to the banks. He can still ramp up his sanctions against Zimbabwe. He can still make more war on Somalia and go ahead with a military intervention against Sudan with his weapon of choice, AFRICOM. He can be forgiven, I suppose, in Dyson's mind, for boycotting and sabotaging Durban 2. And it'd be all right if he embraces us symbolically, if he attempts to silence advocates of single-payer health care, advocates in his own party. We won't then, in Dyson's mind, have a problem with his proposing laws that would institute preventive detention something that George Bush never proposed doing, and yet which Barack Obama only 2 weeks ago proposed doing. And remember, he is a Harvard-educated constitutional lawyer. When he talks about putting laws together to institute preventive detention, that's serious. Of course, we here in this house, at least we here on this stage, we do have a problem with Barack Obama, with his foreign policy, with his domestic policy. We know that a mature black movement knows who its friends are. We know our friends by what they do, and Barack Obama has not been behaving like our friend. A mature black movement struggles for black self-determination in all arenas of life, political, cultural, economic, all arenas. It is a movement that struggles for a society that is worthy of our people, rather than a movement that is satisfied because one of our people is deemed worthy to be the leader of white people. Black politics is suffering, I believe, an internal crisis because many of us have been bedazzled by assimilationist symbolism. No outside forces have crippled us. We have neutralized ourselves by narrowing our politics to racial representation alone. And when that racial representative, Barack Obama, turns out to be the banker's president, and that's who he really is, we don't know what to do. We go into lockdown. We will become increasingly, as a people, less powerful for as long as we refuse to confront power. State power in this country today has a name, and that name is Barack Obama. The person who gave the bankers $12.8 trillion has a name, and still counting, and that name is Barack Obama. We cannot begin to rebuild our movement unless we can call our adversaries by their names, and that includes Barack Obama. Thank you.